Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the commentary zone. As you enter the room, please don't forget, give us a little thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, tell a friend. All right, so on the docket today, we have £1,000 Roomies, Season 1, Episode 4, Gimme S'more. This was an interesting episode. Well, I don't know how I feel about this episode. I am so torn with how I feel towards Nisha
Mhm.
because I want to be angry, but I feel like I'm missing something.
You know, so this feels very production driven, and I'm going to say that simply because you if you know your friend is having all these issues with mobility, why would you take her to the mountains in the first place? Can we just call thing
I
a thing on that?
know. I
So let's start there.
know.
So for me, it feels production driven, and then that cabin for larger people production storyline, in my opinion. I'm like, there's no way. Here's the thing. There's no way Nisha would book something like that. And even she said, like, this is not why I ordered. Like, this is not the cabinet I ordered. This is not fat people friendly. So I think maybe production pulled an okey doke or something. But moving on. Now, the core issue here is, and Nisha's not saying it out loud. So I'll say
Mhm.
it for her. She is upset because she feels that she's more of a caregiver to her friend than a friend. And you've been a caregiver, I've been a caregiver, helping my mom recover now, right? So you know
Mhm.
what goes into that. But for me, and I'll be completely honest, is that it's a lot easier to handle when it's a very close family member. You're more willing to take on a lot. It is a lot. In
Mhm.
this situation, they're friends and roommates. And also, in Nisha's defense, I really haven't heard Jazz say thank you or I appreciate you. Those things go a very long way. So I think it's a combination of Nisha, one, feeling like a caregiver to her friend, and number two, she doesn't feel appreciated. I think those are just the underlying issues here, and is why she's getting so frustrated. On top of the fact that her friend is not getting better.
Well, um, let's just say hi to everybody in the chat. Hello, little lady. Welcome back, Ryan Rounds. Hi, Steven. Hi, Wendy's Front Yard, aka Wendy. Let's see who else is in here. Farmada. Good evening to you, my dear. I don't think we can blame Nisha for Jazz going to the mountains. Jazz is a grown woman. She could have stayed home. No one forced her to go.
Here's the thing, though: she
Um,
couldn't stay home because of projection. Otherwise, there's no storyline. That's that's
Simply
that's how I
Jazz
look at it.
seems flat out expected. Um, oops, hold on. I wanted to be mad at Nisha, but I think it is a scared response, in my opinion. Okay, so here's how I feel about this. Um, Nisha, like if I was Jazz, I'm surprised that she even supported her so much with regards to Joel and how she wasn't gonna let her friend wait another 20 years on Joel. Like even Nisha was surprised by that. Like Jazz gives support
Mhm.
and in different ways. Now, if I were Jazz, I wouldn't tell Nisha thank you for nothing because all Nisha does or has done is break the promise of trying to eat healthy. And because Jazz is trying a different way of I think she is abiding by a nutritional plan, but I just don't think it's bless you. I don't think it's enough, and her body was in decline anyway. So let's just call a thing a thing. But if all you hearing from your friend who said at the doctor's office that she's in this with you, but yet she's not doing anything on the diet and not helping you with your diet, but she's criticizing the foods that you are eating and saying that the medicine that you're taking is not helping you, then why are you going to thank her for that?
I think there's she does way more than just do all that. But I get your point, and it's a valid point. And I want to go back to Little Lady and Ryan, and there's two key points here.
Hmm.
Little Lady says also this seems like a pattern because she did the same thing when they went to the beach. She was all hyped up to go, and then they got there, she wouldn't get out the car. Agreed. And then Ryan says, and I thought about this with the scene with Bree and Nisha at the udon cart food truck. Them not being on the same page with food, which is the one thing they bonded on, is becoming a problem. And
Yes.
I believe Nisha said this in the earlier episode. She referenced this, like, is she losing her friend because her friend is trying to lose weight? And my whole thing is, Nisha, all you have to do is go out with Brie and eat the food you want to eat, and then
Mhm.
at home you just make sure you're eating the healthy meals. It's what you gotta do at this point. It's what you gotta do.
I think she's just sick of anyone telling her what to eat. Like in her head, she ain't signed up for this, but out her mouth, she did. And that's a problem. That's a problem because in the doctor's office, when they first went, she was holding Jazz's hand and she said, I'll support you. Now, you should
Keyword:
have
I'll support
said,
you.
right, but what she should have said was, I'll support you by cooking whatever healthy meals you want.
Agreed. That's the key point. When you say I'll support you, people think support like I'm gonna be in this with you.
Mhm.
But in her defense, and it's a flimsy defense, she said
Mhm.
from the beginning that she didn't want to do weight loss surgery. She said, she really didn't need to lose much weight. And
Mhm.
she said she was happy where she was. So I'm not gonna
Mhm.
really just jump down her neck when she's been pretty much said this whole time. I'll support you, but I'm not doing it with you. But to your point, all she had to say was, I'm comfortable where I am. I understand you're not. I'll cook all the healthy meals you want and keep my snacks in my closet slash pantry and do that.
Look what Ryan says. Who brings snacks to the bariatrics doctor office? Sabotage from the beginning. Oops. But here's the thing, though. I think, like I said last week, I really do think that they did a disservice to Dr. Nori. I feel that
Yes.
this girl knew what she was supposed to be eating, and either she didn't eat it or she didn't, because you saw her with a plate of lettuce and she didn't like it and she put it down. So she'd rather survive on protein shakes and protein powder supplement. Okay, but that's still not enough. And have you noticed how much weight she's losing? She says she only got
In
50 pounds to go. You could see it
in
in
the
her
confessional,
face.
in the confessionals though, you looking at a confessional, I'm like, wait. How far away are these confessionals filmed? Because when you go to the confessionals, right? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, and you go back to they show you the actual footage in their time, you're like, huh? Like, what happened? I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
she has lost quite a bit of weight in her
Hmm.
face and in her shoulders and in her
Yes.
breast. Like you're seeing it, and I feel like Nisha's getting bigger.
Well, you said that.
I feel Nisha's getting bigger because lettuce is what your food eats. Ah, Steven! Okay, so I think that Nisha doesn't have a child to worry about, whereas Jazz feels like she has been given a death sentence. That is very accurate.
Hmm.
Like, Nisha, I know it's hard on her because this is just a friend that she decided she was going to share an apartment with and be a roommate with, not be a
Hmm.
caretaker for her or her
Right.
daughter. I get it. However, and I get that they have bonded over food, but there has to be something more to their relationship than that. And I think for Jazz, there is more to the relationship than that because she is concerned about her friend's relationship with Joel. You know, she's concerned about her friend's health. She's concerned about a lot of things with regard to Nisha. But I think all Nisha is concerned about with Jazz is paying the rent and eating food. I think she's limited. That's all.
Right. And my whole thing is like, where is the real food? Because my whole thing is, like, I know we're jumping around this episode, but
Mm-hmm.
conversations. That's just the way the conversation is fun. But I think back to the food that Nisha was cooked. Like Nisha cooks. Like Jazz could have tore up the bacon and the eggs and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Where you there's food like she's cooking food that you can actually eat. And
Right,
I
but
was
then she's cooking it and she's saying, when they give Jazz a plate, she goes, that she ain't gonna eat that.
well,
That's
I think
not as support. That's not
well,
support.
I think she said what she said was she said she's not going to eat all of that. Like I guess they put a lot of food on her plate. I was listening, not watching. So with the if she's still taking the shot, I think she is. Her appetite's not there. And I can't remember who said it in the chat, like maybe last week or week before,
Mm-hmm.
that what maybe it was Tracy. Don't quote me. I want to say it was Tracy for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Uh when you take that shot, it does suppress your appetite, but you have to you have to schedule yourself to eat because you're not eating for a hunger at this point because of
You're
the
eating for
shot suppresses
sustenance.
your
Yeah.
fuel. Yes, and you have to. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe I'm gonna say it was Tracy. Tracy,
It was
let me know if it was
Tracy because she was
okay.
saying you had to time your
Yes,
eating around
schedule
the shot so that you can
right.
eat enough and then the shot or something like that. Yeah, I think it was Tracy.
Yes. So that's the problem. That's my guess. The problem is here is that Jazz is only eating when she's hungry, but with the shot depressing her appetite, she's basically starving herself.
Well, this is what Ryan is saying. Jazz was eating a plate of lettuce. Where was the chicken breast, salmon? She's trying to cheat by starving herself and blaming it on the drugs. Okay, so in her defense, it was one of those pasta type bowls that had a lip curving up. So all I saw was what was on the top, which was green, which I assumed was lettuce. And she put the plate down. So I don't know if there was anything else in the bowl. Give Jazz a beef jerky for dinner. She needs protein to sustain during this process. Well, yeah, beef jerky would help, but I don't know how much. I don't know. I think she needs more than that beef jerky, to be honest.
Okay.
um,
But here's the thing.
let's
Okay,
see.
Davey, let
I
me give
think
you an
she.
idea of how bad this is. So, Jazz is what, 547 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, based on my research and me having gone through my own weight loss journey, the minimum amount of protein she needs is zero point 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. So she's 547. So
Mm-hmm.
at bare minimum, she needs to be taking in 438 grams of protein per day.
Well, she could have a chicken breast and then the protein shakes and the protein supplements, right?
Yes, but the best protein actually comes from whole food sources. The
Well, then
protein
throw in
shake,
two
yeah.
boiled eggs, one for breakfast and one for lunch. I
But
don't
you
know.
know, no, I'm trying to give you like a visual here. So
Mm-hmm.
say she eats 5 times a day, right? Okay, she's supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be eating 5 times a day, right? Breaking that
Okay.
down, that's at least about 85 to 90 grams of protein per meal. And you take
She's
into the
not doing
account,
that. She's
yes,
not doing that.
but she's maybe eating one meal in a protein shake. This is why her body's breaking down on her because she's not doing her nutrition properly.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to like give
Yeah.
you guys kind of a number to go with to see how drastic and how serious this is, and how she's under eating by so much.
But do you remember when they were arguing? I think it's this scene that I'm showing when they were arguing um about the diet.
Hmm.
And what was it? um Nisha was saying when your best friend decide to go on a diet and something, and then Jazz, because they were talking over each other, and Jazz was saying something about how and your best friend says she was gonna do it and she knows that she's not eating healthy either. They were
Hmm.
ranting and raving at each other.
Right.
um I just thought it was weird. There's more to
Yes.
that we need to find out about,
Right.
because there was some underlying anger. Like, I felt that Nisha was really angry.
Yes.
She was really angry in that little tete-a-tete that she had with Jazz. But when the healthy friend did the online thing, it freaked her out. Huh?
Oh, remember her friend came over and did the life expectancy test?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
give you an
yeah, yeah,
idea. Oh,
yeah.
now you
Mm-hmm.
remember that they went to the udon cart, right, to get the food. Now you heard that she got every single protein that they offered, the shrimp, the chicken, the steak, right?
Yeah.
To give you a visual, for Jazz to get the amount of protein she needs, she would need to eat that 5 times a day,
You mean
roughly.
1,200 calories?
The protein, I'm talking about all the protein she got. She would need
Uh-huh.
all that protein maybe 5 times a day plus protein shakes. Just to give you an idea of how much protein she would need.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a
Because
lot.
Ryan is saying that she needed Dr. Now's diet and not be on the shot. But
I agree.
she has a food addiction, and we're not
Yes,
seeing the therapist until next week. And I feel we should have been
right.
seeing that in conjunction with the first visit with Dr. Now. I don't
Dr.
like the
Nori.
edit of, oh, yeah, Dr. Nori. I don't like the edit of this show.
It's bad.
It's really making the doctors look bad, and I think that it's making the two roomies look bad as well. I
But
still don't
remember, we said this a
understand.
couple episodes ago. We said this a couple episodes ago. Concerning with the doctor, this is concerning editing. The fact that we're not seeing this and this and this and this. Now, in fairness, we've watched TLC. We've watched the Thousand Pound Sister. We've watched 600 Pound Line. We've watched these shows, right? So we kind
Hmm.
of know how this should go. My 1,000 pound best friend. We
Uh-huh.
know how this should go.
Yeah.
This is nowhere near that.
Hi, so done. Nisha had buttered noodles
She
and
really did
rice
though.
under all that
I know.
protein. Yes.
I'm trying to get Jazz her protein. And you know, if it's a little udon and some rice, I just want her to have the protein.
I was listening to that order, and I thought that she was ordering for she and the girl to share. Like, it was both of their order, because who puts rice and noodles together?
That I don't know.
It was just, and then when you saw the bowls come out, oh my God, that was a lot of food.
Yeah, like for me and where I am right now, I would have the rice, gotten rid of the rice, and maybe cut the garlic noodles in half.
Didn't they ask for extra butter, garlic butter
Extra
or
butter.
something?
I was like, what?
That they could bathe in it,
Baby.
yeah. Oh my God, they made me sick with that. But I would have never ordered the rice because
No.
I'm not big on rice. And udon noodles, I'm not that big. I probably would have never gone to that food truck unless they had a bowl that had like salad underneath, and then I would have gotten a protein on top. But then that defeats the purpose of that type of food truck. So yeah,
Correct.
never
Yes.
mind. I would not have gone to the food truck. God, I'm not a picky eater. I promise.
Well, food trucks, yeah, but the thing with the food trucks, they like I said, they cater to a specific type of food and person. And like I said, with the udon, I'm not an udon person either. If they had a nice fettuccine, something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
would go with that. I'm more of that type of pasta person. But like when she was talking about the shrimp, the chicken
Mm-hmm.
and the steak, I wasn't mad at that because that's a lot of protein. You need that. But they like the indulgence part of the food, like the butter, the
Yeah.
cream, all the fats, basically.
Okay, so Ryan says the episode reminded me of when they took Tammy to the cabin, but Tammy was being more of a witch.
Right,
And it did remind me of that. But here's like Jazz is a little different. She like the whole part of her staying back in the car and the one gal was it Tiffany? It was Tiffany?
I believe it's Tiffany. Yeah,
Yeah, Tiffany came out to the car and sat with her and then help her take her time and get out and they brought her into production had to help Tiffany bring that girl into the house
yeah. Hmm.
because it was an uneven walkway to path to get to the cabin. So they put her in there and they get her in the couch and she's in pain. She is literally in pain. So when she went to the hospital, they told her after doing a CAT scan that she has arthritis, which I can understand, and that her muscles are deteriorating, which Dr. Nori told us was going to happen.
Right,
So they gave her pain meds for the arthritis, and she's got to figure that out. I hope that she's being monitored on those pain meds. But anyway, so she's got that. And then we have Nisha who's planning this camping trip up to Big Bear for both of their birthdays, which are very close to each other. So they're going over this weekend and they're taking their friends, which is very nice. We see Nisha sit down and ask Jazz, with you coming out of the hospital, are you sure you're okay with going on this trip? And Jazz says yes. Um, I think it's a fear of her being left alone. Again, she needs to be on the show. She has to go. But if you knew the girl has been in pain, you could have done something other than Big Bear.
yes. Thank you. You gonna take her? My thing is, you gonna take her up in the mountains, and you know she has arthritis. That's my whole thing. And the
Mhm.
cold just gonna make it worse. So
Well, even I'm giving Nisha the benefit of the doubt that it was booked before they went to the hospital, right? So she
that's
knew
fair.
that her knees, one or two of the knees from the swimming thing, when we found out that episode where they went swimming, she knew her knees were an issue.
Right, and maybe it was non-refundable.
I get it. Not really, but I okay. I don't even care at this point. But and then, okay, so Jazz agrees to go. And then in the car ride up, she's like, I don't even like camping. I don't even know why
Right.
I'm doing this. It's my me and my problem with the cult. And the girl in the back seat, I think that was um uh a Trisha. What's the hell was her name? The one that began with A.
Artesia?
Arnisha? Artisha. Artisha said, what the hell that got to do with camping? And she's like, oh, I had to go camping all the time at the church and I had to wear dresses all the time. Shut up. Shut up. Do not do something for your friend and then poo poo on it. Just be quiet. If you're doing it for your friend, don't sit there and say, I hate camping. I'm only doing this for Jazz. Fuck you with that shit, because that tells me you doing it with a bad mind. Don't want to hear anything about it. I really don't.
Oh, Ryan, Big Bear. Like, I'm gonna put them in LA. They're somewhere in LA. So from Big Bear to LA is 2 hours.
Yeah, because it's further north of the state, right, where it gets cold, where you can do skiing and all of that.
Sometimes, yeah,
Well, yeah, only in the winter. Cause like, isn't wasn't
yeah.
that the commercial for California? Like, you could go surfing in one part of the state and go skiing in another part of the state. It's a
Hmm.
really old commercial. But yeah, that's how I figure out about California. Um, she wanted the noodles instead of rice with extra butter. Same people who put four patties on one burger would eat pasta and rice together. I keep forgetting that. Four patties on one burger?
Hmm.
Is that actually on the menu?
No, no. What some people will do, you can add. Yeah, some places you can request it, but what most people do, they'll get multiple burgers and put the four patties on one burger and then toss the other bread.
Oh, okay, alrighty. You can get half rice, half chow mein at Panda Express, but her bowl was super big, and sis should have had that protein on a bed of lettuce. But she ain't agreed to do all of this.
Right.
She's good with herself, and she's good with making herself fatter and fatter and fatter, looking like a Russian, what do you call the Russian
Uh,
dolls?
nesting doll.
Nesting dolls. There you go. When she wouldn't walk up the ramp. Yeah. I'm so glad Tammy doesn't act like that anymore. But she wasn't she wasn't cursing anyone out. That's the big difference. It was a similar scene, but a different result. And I loved it when Jazz pulled Tiffany aside and was like, I really want to thank you for what you did with me in the van. And I thought that was very nice. I mean, Jazz is in a whole world of pain, and Jazz can still recognize, and she can say thank you for those people who help her. I think she's feeling let down by Nisha because she gets a lot of negative statements from Nisha. I think for
Mm,
the first time in quite a while, Jazz received support on this trip because each and every one of the three ladies that were there at some point, tried to encourage her. When Nisha went out and was talking with the girls, when they went out for the walk, and she was talking with the girls and she started crying. Yes, it is hard on her. She didn't sign up to be a caretaker. She didn't sign up for this. Um, and she is a bit out of her depth because she probably doesn't know what to do. When I first became a caretaker, I did not know what to do. And it was trial by error. And then I got CNAs, home healthcare workers, to come in and help me, and they taught me so much. I thank Donna every flicking day because she was there with me till the end. They taught me so much, and at that point, I just wanted the best for
right.
my mom, right? And I was willing to humble myself and learn. I, but it's a different. You're right, Jamal, because our situation is for family members.
Hmm.
Nisha and Jazz are roommates. It's a big
Yeah.
difference.
That I think with Nisha, now I'm gonna give Nisha grace on this part because
Mm-hmm.
the things that she says, she's about her. My friend's not getting better. I don't know what to do. To me, she sounds very scared. Because she doesn't know what to do because all she's seeing on the day to day, yeah, he's doing the bulk of the cooking and the cleaning and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's kind of weighing her down, I could be wrong, is that she's doing all of that, but her friend is getting worse. So it makes her feel like if she's getting worse, what am I doing? Because that has to be scary to see your friend steadily decline. Like I'll use my situation with my grandmother. It wasn't different. It wasn't super difficult to watch her decline only because I knew what was coming. So in my mind, I had
Mm-hmm.
already reconciled that.
Mm-hmm.
She and I had our talks before she passed away. So I was already in the mindset, okay, this is where we are. I'm going to do all I can for you. I- this is just what's going to happen. Completely different when you're trying to help somebody. who's who's steadily declining, but getting help, but the help doesn't seem to be working, and your friend it doesn't seem to be like motivated, like it's just a spark that's missing in Jazz. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
Nisha who's trying to, you know, be there for her, but she's like has no clue what's going on. So she's kind of like in a limbo stage. So you put all that together, she's gonna be frustrated and upset. But then again, your friend really needs her support, and you don't have to do everything she does. That's not what she's saying. That's not what Jazz is saying at all.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants you to be somewhat an active participant in her journey, meaning like her
Mm-hmm.
diet. You don't have to do anything. Like, you know what? Say you like, for example, the bowl, right? So you want to make her a bowl. Maybe you make her bowl with like greens and protein and things of that nature. Just because she has to eat that way for her, you can still have the same proteins, and but you can have your rice. Maybe you don't put like a whole stick of butter on it, but you can still have your rice and your noodles. But you can make subtle changes. They don't have to be like the whole drastic changes that Jazz needs. That's not what she's saying. She just wants to see you make actual changes. Like, when you want those chips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you just don't eat those chips in front of her.
Yes. Yes. Because we said this last week that she should move all of her things into her room.
Everything.
You know?
Because Jazz never said you shouldn't eat that. What Jazz is saying, like, don't have it in front of me. That's what I've heard.
And if you know the girl can't eat a lot, then
Don't cook
serve
a
her
lot.
a manageable portion. Yeah. And don't cook
Right.
a lot. I don't know. It's just very weird. And then don't follow up with negative comments on it. I think that's what's hurting Jazz the most is what's coming out of her mouth. Because let's just call a thing a thing. Jazz was well over 600 pounds.
Yes.
Nisha was doing the cooking and the cleaning and being a maidservant to Jazz from the beginning.
Hmm.
So the only thing that has changed now is the food component. And all of a sudden, Nisha is angry.
Hmm.
Think about it.
I agree with you. Because she even said out her mouth, like, she thought she's losing her friend because they bonded over food.
Well, they could still bond over food.
Right.
Just give her a lot of meat.
Yes.
Like she had three types of meat on her bowl.
Right.
Do that at home. I think she just wants to get away from Jazz because the truth is coming to the light. She this is what she's been to get a nice place to live. Cuz there's no way she is earning enough at her mother's home-based daycare to live the way how she lives. Period. What are y'all saying out here? Okay. She'll need a fridge in her room. That's easy enough. They're under $100 for one of
Yeah.
those little honor bar fridges. Would think at their weight, even the slightest changes would make big improvements. They have because look at Jazz. Jazz, you could see it in Jazz's face and her upper body. You can see that she has lost weight and she's
Yes.
only 50 pounds to her 500-pound goal, right?
Right.
So she's almost there. She's almost there. And I know she seems a little stubborn and hard-headed, but she does have a child to think about. I can't be mad at her for that. I have a question though. Why is Jazz obligated to cook every meal for Nisha? Nisha should start getting into the kitchen and preparing her own food. It's Nisha. You've got the names backwards. It's Nisha who does all the cooking, and Jazz, I don't think she's mobile. Like, I don't think she could stand up because we see her like with the wheelchair, and she is bent over using the wheelchair to walk. I don't think she has the capacity to stand up long enough to cook food. Um, oh, it would but Jazz isn't eating what she should to fuel her body properly. Yeah. My grandmother was Jazz size at one point, and she would sit in a chair at the stove and cook. But Ryan had brought up a really good point because your little lady, remember when I asked, why does Jazz bend all the way over whenever she gets on the scale? And Ryan had brought up that her booty and her center of gravity. And I don't think she can stand upright with that booty like that.
Hmm.
And she was a lot heavier up top too before. I don't know. She's an unusual case though, and now that we know about the arthritis, that'll be even harder, especially if it's in her knees. Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird. Nisha definitely acted like Jazz dieting was a judgment of Nisha or something. I like that thought, Stephen. I like that thought. We need to keep a mental note of that, Jamal.
Hmm.
Um, it's sad to see her like that. It is. It is. I just don't understand why the other one isn't trying to diet and do it together. She like Jamal says, Nisha's happy with herself. She doesn't think she has any problems. Um, the rest of us might not think so, but that's what Nisha thinks. Um, I understand that was their dynamic, but just like she always tells Nisha, it's good exercise she needs to start getting in that kitchen and cooking for herself and her daughter. I think it's easier said than done, little lady. Um, I think, yeah. Mm. I think eventually, when she has the surgery and she gets her pain management under control, she'll be able to do more things, including cooking for her and her daughter. But then again, once she starts doing that, where's that going to leave Nisha? Jazz can't stand up long enough to cook her own meals. She could maybe in the kitchen on a rolling chair, maybe. Can she fit in one of those though? Um, Now that Jazz is on the shot, she's too weak to cook. She's starving. I don't think she was cooking before. I think Nisha has been the cook, the cleaner, the maid service. I think Nisha was doing all of that before. Tammy always cooks sitting down. True, but does Tammy have arthritis? I don't think so. I've seen people bigger than Jasmine in the kitchen sitting and cooking. Hey, Sartu. And that's why I'm saying it. Sit down in a chair and cook. There's no excuse. There is an excuse. This woman is not mobile. Um, I mean, look at the episode that we saw where she got Nisha to come in and rub lotion on her back. Like, she's not that mobile. Nisha has been pushing her to get out of the house more,
Hmm.
but she's not mobile, in my opinion. I'm hoping Nisha will pull a Vanessa and fully embrace the diet in the end. I think she will because she has the motivation for her daughter and she has the support of her family. And I think that's something that's missing with Nisha. I don't think she has a supportive family in the sense that Jazz does. And if she does, I don't think she acknowledges their support because she's so wrapped up in this cult thing that she was in. And until she reconciles her feelings to her mother, she'll never get any farther than where she is right now. And she has a huge self confidence problem. Again, she needs to get into therapy. And I'm talking about Nisha. She needs to get into therapy. Being big is Nisha's identity. Yep. If she got smaller, she wouldn't know who she was. But also
Yes,
being big is a cover up as well. It's her excuse, you know. But we'll see how she goes with that. Unless she's waiting to do her transformation in season 2. I don't know. I'm worried that she'll be at the weight goal for surgery, but her protein is going to be so low, the doctor wouldn't want to risk it. Well, then she'll have to wait because didn't Tammy have the same problem with protein? And they made her
yeah,
wait until she bulked up on the protein. Um,
exactly.
the nanny too. Oh yes, yes. Because someone has to help with Nana as well. At that size, everyday chores become major work. Yes. And then you throw in arthritis. Yes. Just because we saw something on, 600-pound life doesn't mean that it is a pattern and everyone is the same. Each of these patients have different issues, different diagnoses, and it doesn't help that Dr. Now always says, use my book and this will help. It's cookie cutter for him. But I think what we miss is a lot of these patients have to go into therapy, have to resolve other issues like cardiac problems. I know cardiac is a big one that is referred on 1,000 pound diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, like all of these like other symptoms go hand in hand. So um it is it's a complex situation for each person. I'll leave it at that. What else happened? Well,
That stupid date.
I she likes this guy. I don't know why. So, like, as soon as she got onto the apps, he went into her DMs and started love bombing her and invited her out on a date. So, basically, she's just supposed to be there as friends with benefit for him, whether he got a woman or not. Was
Yes,
that
and
my
here's the whole
understanding?
thing. But here's the whole thing, though. I'm sorry, I'm not poor Nisha, but not poor Nisha. It's
Mm-hmm.
been 20 years that he ain't take you out on a date. Here's the thing. This is where I don't feel too bad for her because she said before the date
Mm-hmm.
that he was probably only asking her out because she was getting attention on social media. She
Mm-hmm.
said that.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to go in and take the, if he was gonna take you on a proper date, first of all, he'd have called you or came over in person and said, "Hey, I want to take you out on an actual date. Where would you like to go?" That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
That's key. That's number one. Number two, he would have told her. He would have asked her, "I'm taking you on. I'm taking you out on this date because," and laid it out for her
Mm-hmm.
because even though she kind of knew what it was, she had a hope that he would finally see her as something more than a booty call. And when she didn't get that response, she got upset. Well, no, you can't be upset if he's remained consistent in his answers. I'm sorry.
It was a problem for me because he didn't pick her up. He didn't take her someplace nice. And it was just, I should have known that it was going to go wrong when she said, I'm only going because of the free meal.
Right.
It's just like, when she got out of the car and she was walking, I was like, where is she going? Is she going to pick up? Like, what is happening here? And when I realized it was the date, I was like, girl, you drove yourself to your own date with somebody that you know. It's not like it's somebody you don't know. It's somebody that you have known for 2 decades who has, rutted up in your crutch throughout 2 decades. And Oh, Jamal just dropped off. Well, hopefully he'll come back. I just didn't get that. And then, oh, here he is. Okay.
Sorry, phone call.
hmm I just thought it was just sloppy on both of their parts. And for her to be sitting there and asking him about if their situation was going to change. Well, he told you that it wasn't going to change when he was putting together the bed. Because
Yeah, he
remember,
did.
Jazz asked him, are you going to take her out on a date? And he turned around and walked away. That was answer for me. I don't know why we had to go through this to humiliate Nisha even further. But then again, Jazz is there sitting down telling her, I'm not going to let my friend go another 20 years with this man treating her like that. I'm going to support you like a bra strap. And to Nisha's credit, she thanked her for that because she was shocked by the support, which tells me that Nisha doesn't get any support. Hold on, what is this? Um, oh, okay. So our elevators are going to be out tomorrow between 9 a.m. and noon. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to read that. So yeah, like I don't get it. I didn't like that whole storyline for Nisha. They need to find something else for Nisha. If she is not going to get on the health journey, I need to find something else more
The cult.
than the
Yo,
yeah, I'm over the cult because she's not actively doing anything to help herself and what seems to be a very traumatic period of her life. She's not doing anything to help work through those issues.
agreed.
So I'm tired of hearing about I can't have ketchup because of the cult. I can't tie my laces because of the cult. I could only wear spaghetti straps because of the cult. I can only eat rice and udon noodles with three proteins and all the sauces because of the cult. I'm tired. Tired. What else? What else happened on the show? They did finally go to the cabin. Jazz got in. Jazz was limited with what she could do because I think the altitude might have been impacting her. Um, they did s'mores. They went for a walk. They went to find firewood, but then ran back. I don't know. I think the other three friends, even Bree, who has been more supportive to Nisha than Jazz, was actually very supportive to Jazz. I think it is overwhelming for the both of them and they need some help. I think Nisha's mom needs to come in. I think Miss Sharon needs to come in and Nisha's mom, Jazz's mom, uh, that's Sharon, right? I think Jazz's
Yes.
mom is Sharon. Yeah, they need to come in and offer some help and support in that house because Nisha is burnt out. Not that she's doing anything different than her everyday chores. And actually, I think she's doing less because she's not even doing the cooking.
Hmm.
But I think some additional emotional support for both women needs to happen. Hold on. What is everyone here saying? Um, they deserve each other. It's wacky 20 years. They're both in denial. And this is referring to Nisha and Joel. He knows where she lives. He couldn't even pick her up for the date. Yeah, I thought that was really weird. Part of weakness in her muscles is not from just the shots, but because she's not using them. She's been immobile too long. That's why Nisha is trying to get her up and moving, not just laying around. True. Um, Oops. That is why I feel if it hurts to stand, sit, and exercise. Yeah, she was doing good when she was at the pool. And I think that's a fight that's coming up because Jazz is supposed to go back for exercising and Nisha's bailing on her. And she's telling Jazz, pick your ass up and go get an Uber or something. I think that was in the previews. That's not supportive either. Interesting. I was proud of her for confronting the mom. You mean Nisha? But there was no resolution. She confronted her mom by what? She started saying something, and then the mother told her what she always tells her: you need to get over it. Nothing. There was no resolution, and at
Right.
this point, because the mother is shut down and shutting her down, that's why she needs to go into therapy and resolve it herself. Um, they went to a cabin on Thousand Pound Best Friends too. That's oh yes, they did. Wasn't it last season too? With Tina and Scott? They went to a cabin? Yes, they did, because Scott booked that trip. Holy crap. I have arthritis and my doctor has gave me exercises to sit and do, but told me to get up and walk a little bit because if you don't, it just gets worse. You end up not being able to walk.
Yeah. Arthritis is just oops so bad. There's just nothing you can
Mm-hmm.
do with it but manage it.
No, but at least she let her know how much they hurt her. Yeah, I think, but I think the mother knows that, and she keeps on telling her to get over it. That's a roadblock to me. Your mother's not addressing your issues.
Mm,
She's telling you to get over it.
right.
So, to me, if I can't, and she has anger issues towards her mom. And if I can't, if she won't help me find resolution, then I need to help myself find resolution so that I can stop being so angry at my mom. She is
Exactly.
angry at her mother. Um, yes, it was Scott that took the mask. Yes, 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 yes. That is true. Yes, he did fight for the well, he stole the master suite. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, I think that was it in this episode. I think we've got everything.
Yes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, so we're going to end the show right now because Auntie's Advice has just come on with her review for the same exact show. So I know all of you will want to go over there and see that. If you don't, I recommend that you do because she has an interesting take on this show as well. That's it for us this week. Next week, we will have more shows for you because, of course, Whitney is coming back. Jamal, you and I will need to talk about the schedule because we have to work around your situation. So, guys, thanks for joining us this week. Have a wonderful weekend. And if you can, come back and visit us again next week to talk more nonsense with these TLC shows. Jamal, any final thoughts?
No, I'm glad we're seeing. I'm glad we're getting to see the therapist next week, though. He's a couple weeks too late, but at least we get to see him.
Honestly, I think, based on the other shows that we have watched, she has been seeing him. It's only
Mm,
because of the edit
gotcha.
that we're now seeing him. Because think about it, this is a huge change for her. She
Yes,
has to, like, Dr. Nori would be negligent if she did not recommend this from the jump.
I agree with you, 1000%.
And I don't think Dr. Nori is that bad of a doctor and come
No,
on TV to show it. So I blame TLC for the edit. But anyway, guys, Jamal, have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, guys. Until next time. Bye bye.